There is a dream most people have and forget by morning, a specific dream with specific symbols. And according to the Gnostic tradition, if you have had any of the five, Sophia is not approaching you. She is already inside. The Coptic texts call these the dreams of remembrance, images the awakening soul sends to itself across the veil between worlds. They are not random, they are coordinates. If you have ever woken up from a dream feeling that something important just happened, but you could not hold it, your instinct is correct. You are receiving something. And ignoring these transmissions is not neutral. Every forgotten dream is a message the archons successfully intercepted before it reached your waking mind. So what are the five symbols? And what does it mean if you recognize more than one in your own dream life? To understand why this matters, you have to understand something that almost no modern teacher talks about. The Gnostics believed that sleep is not rest. Sleep is a breach in the prison. During waking hours, the rulers of this world, what the Coptic codices call the archons, maintain a continuous influence over the material mind. They shape your fears, your desires, your sense of what is possible. They do this through the body, through the senses, through the noise of the world. But when the body sleeps, something changes. The soul loosens. Part of it withdraws from the grip of matter, and in that narrow window, another frequency can reach you. The Gnostics had a name for that frequency. They called it the voice of the mother. Carl Jung, who spent decades reading the same Nag Hammadi texts you are hearing about now, arrived at almost the same conclusion through a different door. He called it active imagination. The idea that in certain states images do not come from the conscious ego. They come from something older, deeper, wiser, something that knows who you are beneath the identity the world handed you. Jung used one specific word for that deeper intelligence when it appeared in feminine form. He called her Sophia, and here is what almost no one puts together. The symbols Jung documented in the dreams of his patients, the ones that preceded major psychological awakenings, overlap almost perfectly with the symbols the Gnostic texts describe as signs of gnosis breaking through. The same serpent, the same mirror, the same luminous woman, the same impossible door, 2,000 years apart, same images. This is not coincidence. This is architecture. Something ancient is leaving fingerprints in your sleeping mind, and it has been doing it since before there were words for it. And what you are about to hear has never been laid out this directly in a public video. For those who want the full private transmission, it is waiting in the pinned comment. But stay with me now, because what comes next changes how you look at every dream you have ever had. So why dreams? Why not visions during meditation or signs in waking life? The Gnostic answer is precise. The archons feed on attention, on the noise of the ego, on the constant internal commentary that keeps you identified with the body and its fears. During deep sleep, that commentary stops, the ego dissolves, and for a few hours every night, you become something closer to what you actually are, a fragment of Sophia, remembering. The text described this moment with extraordinary care. In the hypostasis of the archons, there is a passage where Sophia is said to breathe upon the sleeping soul, and the soul begins to see. Not with the eyes of the body, with the eyes that were sealed when the soul descended into matter. Those inner eyes open only when the outer ones close. That is why dreams. That is why sleep. That is why the symbols come at night and dissolve at dawn, because the archons work fast to reclaim the territory they lost while you slept. But some dreams slip through. Some images are strong enough to survive the return to waking consciousness. And when those specific images appear, the Gnostics taught, it is not your imagination, it is a signal, a sign that the spark inside you, the fragment of Sophia that was buried when you were born into this world, is beginning to stir. But what exactly does Sophia send? What images does the awakening soul use to speak to itself? The first symbol is the one that disturbs people the most, because when it happens, you do not forget it, even if you cannot explain it. You are dreaming, and at some point you find yourself in front of a mirror. The setting does not matter. It could be a bathroom, a hallway, an unknown room. You look into the mirror, and the face looking back at you is not your face. Sometimes it is close to your face, but older. Sometimes younger. Sometimes the features are different entirely, a different jaw, different eyes, a different expression. But here is the part that no one talks about. Even though the face is not yours, you recognize it. You know that face. There is a feeling in the chest, a kind of ache of familiarity, as if you had been separated from that person for a very long time. And then you wake up, and the image stays with you for hours, sometimes days. If this has happened to you, what you encountered was not a random dream distortion. According to the hypostasis of the archons, one of the most important texts found at Nag Hammadi in 1945, Sophia is described as the face that was hidden, the face that existed before the soul was sealed into the body. The text says, in essence, that every soul carries two faces. The face of the world, shaped by matter, by lineage, by trauma, by the rulers of the lower realm, and the face of origin, the face the soul wore before the descent. The mirror dream is the moment the two faces meet. And think about what that means for a moment. Think about what it would mean if the person you see every day in your waking mirror is not, in fact, the deepest layer of who you are. If behind that face, there is another, one that predates your name, your story, your identity in this world. The Gnostic texts are unambiguous on this point. They say that what you call yourself is an overlay, a mask the archons installed to keep you forgetting. And the only way the hidden face can communicate with you while you are still trapped in the overlay is through symbols, through the mirror of the dream. Have you ever felt, in waking life, that the reflection you see does not quite match who you are inside, that there is a subtle mismatch, almost imperceptible, between your face and your sense of self? That sensation is not vanity, it is not dysmorphia, it is memory, a memory leaking from the face beneath the face. And when it surfaces in a dream, with full force, with a different face in the mirror, it means the seal is cracking. But there is something more precise in the Coptic description that almost no one mentions. The text says that the hidden face is not static. It is not a single fixed identity waiting underneath. It is a living presence. It changes as you change. It ages in reverse as you awaken. Some practitioners who have had this dream repeatedly across years report that the face in the mirror becomes progressively more luminous over time, less human, more radiant, as if the soul is remembering itself in stages, and each stage shows up in the mirror as a different version of the hidden self. And this is where the teaching gets specific. The Gnostics believe that when the mirror dream begins to repeat, it is not a loop, it is a ladder. Each appearance is a rung. Each face is one layer closer to the original face, the one Sophia herself carries, the one that existed before the fall into matter. They called the final image, the one at the top of the ladder, the face of the pleroma, the face of pure origin. Almost no one reaches it in a single lifetime, but every mirror dream is a step. So when you wake up shaken by a mirror that showed you something other than yourself, the correct response is not to dismiss it, it is to pay attention, to ask, without judgment, who was that? Not as a question for the rational mind, as a question for the deeper layer. The layer that already knows the answer but has been forbidden by the noise of the world from speaking clearly. And there is one more detail that matters, something the codices mention only in passing, but which matches exactly what Jung later documented in his Patience. The mirror dream almost never appears alone. It tends to arrive just before, or just after, a second symbol, a symbol that completes the transmission, a symbol most people in the modern world have been taught to fear, but which the Gnostics understood as something entirely different. Why? Because this next symbol was deliberately reframed. The institution that shaped Western religion took one of Sophia's clearest messengers and turned it, across centuries, into the face of evil itself. And in doing so, they cut an entire population off from recognizing one of the oldest signs of awakening ever documented. What is that symbol, and why did it need to be erased? You are dreaming, and at some